When luck dies, the rise of legends. You ever stop to think about what separates an amateur poker player from a legend? The answer isn't luck. It never was. While 99% of players blame variance, bad beats, and destiny itself, there's a silent 1% that understood one devastating truth: pause. When luck dies, that's when true champions are born. Let me ask you something that's going to sting. How many times have you been dealt a hand that felt unwinnable? Lost chips because the cards just weren't running your way? Left a session thinking, if the cards had fallen different? Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to hear. That mentality is exactly what keeps you trapped at mediocre levels. It's the thinking that separates hobbyists from professionals. The players who crush poker consistently, they don't bet on luck. They bet on system. They bet on process. They possess such a deep understanding of the game that short-term variance becomes irrelevant. Have you ever really observed a truly elite poker player? Not the guy who won a tournament with AA versus KK. I'm talking about the player who wins consistently, month after month, year after year, regardless of the cards they're dealt. What they do differently isn't complicated. Actually, it's elegantly simple, but it requires a complete recalibration of how you view this game. When luck dies, when you finally stop waiting for that perfect scenario, that's when you discover the real game never actually started. Game theory mastery. First principle, game theory. Optimal isn't just a concept. It's a religion, and the true believers make money while the heretics lose it. The legends study ranges, but not just ranges in a vacuum, ranges in context. They understand that your action on the button in a $500 SNG must be radically different from your action in a deep-stacked cash game. Here's what separates amateurs from professionals. The amateur plays cards. The professional plays situations. He knows that QJ offsuit on the cutoff against a tight big blind isn't just a weak hand. And it's a hand with 52% equity in a spot where he makes money long-term. When you internalize that every decision is an expected value situation, and that luck is just the volatility around that expectation, you stop being a player. You become a machine. Second fundamental of the legends, they read people like open books. But not the way you think. It's not about counting tells. Any amateur sees someone shake. The real work goes much deeper. A legend understands that every player is a compilation of habits, and habits leave footprints. When a tag at your table makes a 3-bet, he has a specific frequency. When he does it on the button versus the small blind, the distribution of his hands shifts dramatically. The professionals map these frequencies naturally. They know the fish who takes 3 seconds to call has a 73% probability of holding a decent hand. They know the NIT who suddenly speeds up has a premium. But, and listen carefully, this isn't magic. It's systematic observation. It's building a statistical model of each opponent inside your head through sessions, weeks, months. When you stop waiting for luck and start reading patterns, you achieve control, and control is power. Emotional management and bankroll. Third pillar destroys 98% of aspiring professionals. Management, specifically your mindset about downswings. Luck dies when you accept downswings as the mathematical price of the game, when you don't become a maniac chasing losses, when you don't panic drop down in stakes. The legends operate with surgical precision. They know their ROI. They know their variance. They calculate that in tournament poker, their edge might carry a standard deviation of 12 buy-ins. So they maintain a bankroll that absorbs that without tilt, without desperation, without emotion. You know what the real differentiator is. While amateurs tilt, professionals profit. While amateurs play above their means after losing, professionals fold and study. While amateurs pray for luck, professionals sleep soundly knowing the math is on their side. That's the closest thing to luck that exists. The absolute certainty that if you play correctly for long enough, the mathematics will prevail. Guaranteed. Adaptation and metagame. Fourth principle that makes someone a legend: strategic flexibility. Poker isn't binary. It's not play tight or play loose. It's not GTO or exploitative. Real poker is contextual. The legends understand that the optimal strategy at a table full of nits is radically different from a table full of maniacs. They don't follow one rigid system. They follow principles that adapt like water. While an amateur tries to execute the same GTO strategy in every situation, the legend is 3 moves ahead. She's studying the opponent's betting pattern, she's adjusting her bet sizing, she's exploiting specific weaknesses. When you master adaptation, you transcend from good player to unstoppable player. Because if opponents can't predict your actions, they can't exploit you, and you exploit everyone. You know what's truly tragic? I've met hundreds of talented players, guys with the logic, the discipline, the intelligence to be legends, but they're missing one piece. They can't release the illusion of luck. They're married to the idea that someday the cards will run my way. And you know where they are now? Out of the game. Meanwhile, the ones who understood, who accepted that luck is irrelevant, they're playing $2 $5 deep regularly, averaging $800 per night. They're traveling to international poker series. They're living the life they plan. The difference between them and you? It usually isn't intelligence. It's acceptance. It's the willingness to recognize that you've been lied to your whole life about how this game actually works. If you're ready to discover what the top 1% actually knows, if you're willing to transition from player to legend, there are concrete steps. First, accept that you're at the beginning. The greatest players in the world still study 10 hours a week. They still review sessions. They still hunt for that 1% marginal edge. Second, invest in real education, not generic courses, real mentorship, real hand analysis with professionals living off this game. Third, build your system, study your hands, test your theories, adapt, evolve. The moment you stop blaming luck, you start blaming your decisions. The moment you stop blaming random decisions and start optimizing them systematically, you become a profit machine. When luck dies, it's because you finally woke up. And when you wake up, everyone else looks like they're sleeping. The real poker game begins when you stop waiting for luck to save you. If this resonated with you, if you're tired of playing like an amateur and you're ready to think like a legend, there's one thing you need to do right now. Subscribe to Mind of Grinder on YouTube. This isn't another generic poker channel. We break down the mental frameworks, the strategic principles, and the professional habits that separate casual players from full-time destroyers. Every video, every analysis, every concept we share is designed to accelerate your journey from good player to unstoppable force. When you subscribe, you get access to advanced content, hand breakdowns from 5-10-plussers games, mental toughness protocols, bankroll management systems, and the exact psychological frameworks that legends use to dominate their competition. But here's what matters most. By joining our community, you're surrounding yourself with people who get it. People who understand that luck is a cop-out. People who are building real, sustainable poker careers. So right now, hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dive content. And join thousands of serious poker players who are already transforming how they approach this game. Because the legends aren't born, they're built. And the building starts with one decision. The decision to stop believing in luck and start believing in yourself. Welcome to the Mind of Grinder. Your legend starts here.